Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Host Eddie Frederick.
So glad you can join us. La Soufriere volcano remains dangerous even if intervals of interruptions widen. This story takes the lead in our 1101st edition of Caribbean Perspective for Thursday, 29th April 2021. Details after this break.
Hubbard's big promotion is back. Live free for 1 year. Spend $50 or more in any Hubbard's department and receive a chance to win big prizes every month. Property or vehicle insurance for 1 year. Free internet, cable and data for 1 year. Free fuel for 1 year. Free cooking gas for 1 year. Free electricity for 1 year. Free drinks for 1 year. Extra cash account and the big free groceries for 1 year. Promotion runs from April 1st to September 30th, 2021. Live free for 1 year with Hubbard's in association with Solgas, Flow, Grenadian General Insurance, Carib Brewery, Coca-Cola, Grenada Bottling Company, Grenlec, Communal Cooperative Credit Union, Dutch Lady Milk, Promo, Danny and Supreme. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back. Experts at the University of the West Indies Seismic Research Centre, UWI-SRC, have advised that La Soufriere volcano in St. Vincent and the Grenadines remains dangerous despite pauses in explosive activity. During the virtual press conference hosted on Wednesday, April 21st, Rod Stewart, volcano seismologist from the University of the West Indies SRC Montserrat Volcano Observatory, said although it is easy to identify the start of eruptions, conclusively saying when eruptions are over often proves more difficult. The UWI-SRC and Vincentian authorities continue to monitor developments at the volcano, as they have been since the onset of heightened activity in December 2020, which entered an explosive phase on April 9th, 2021. Advice provided by the UWI-SRC enabled the successful evacuation of 13,000 residents from the designated red zone 24 hours prior to the first explosion of the volcano. 32 discrete explosions have been observed since the onset of the explosive activity. To date, there has been no loss of life. Ash from these explosions have been the primary hazard. Buildings and infrastructure have suffered damage. In St. Vincent and nearby Barbados was also severely affected for several days. Explosive events have become less frequent over time, with a period between explosions increasing as the eruptions progress. Over in Trinidad, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley has received his first negative COVID-19 test. A statement from the Office of the Prime Minister's Facebook page said Prime Minister Dr. Rowley was tested for COVID-19 and the result is negative. This TTT news item shares more.
On April 6th, the Office of the Prime Minister confirmed that Dr. Rowley had tested positive for COVID-19 after developing flu-like symptoms the evening before. At the time, the Prime Minister was in Tobago for the Easter long weekend. Since then, Dr. Rowley has remained in isolation at the Prime Minister's official residence in Blenheim, Tobago, under the care and supervision of the medical professionals from the Tobago Regional Health Authority.
In the meantime, Trinidad and Tobago's Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley says talks continue with U.S. President Joe Biden about the sharing of surplus COVID-19 vaccines with the region. More in this TTT news item.
In a media release from the Office of the Prime Minister, it was noted that on March 19, Dr. Rowley wrote to President Biden, who in his response confirmed the United States' commitment to partnering with COVAX and other multinational institutions to ensure the equitable distribution of vaccines. Dr. Rowley also met virtually with U.S. Congresswoman Maxine Walters and a Special Assistant to the President, Elizabeth Cameron, where among the key issues discussed was the need for this equitable distribution of vaccines. The Office of the Prime Minister said a commitment was received that once the policy of redistribution is readied, CARICOM will not be ignored. On Monday, the White House said it will begin sharing its entire stock of AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccines with the world once it clears federal safety reviews. This means some 60 million doses can be made available for export in the coming months.
The leader of St. Lucia's opposition, Philip J. Pierre, has apologized to the Seventh-day Adventist Church for the disturbance at the church in Soufriere this past Saturday. Henry was being painted as a father in anguish who has to contend with the politicization of the sudden loss of his son. Solange Alfred of HTS News Force reports.
Nobody can understand what happens to a man when he loses his son. That emotion, Andre, you can't feel it. It never happened to you. And only somebody who it happens to can feel it. What it means, the hurt and the pain.
A deep-seated hurt, according to opposition leader Philip J. Pierre, that continues to resonate with the Henry family after the passing of 27-year-old Dr. Josimar Henry. The SLP-endorsed candidate for Castries Southeast, Joachim Henry, confronted the incumbent Guy Joseph during a Saturday church service at the Soufriere SDA Church over allegations of attempts to gain political mileage off his son's demise. Joseph, who claims to be nonplussed by the claims, has vehemently denied such allegations. Pierre has called on political figures to understand the time and place for political rivalry.
That's when he said the vilest things about Joachim Henry. Instead of saying that, listen to me, let me have a truce. The man's son is dead. Let's have a truce when the son is buried. That is what men of substance say.
The leader of the opposition waxed philosophical about the inherent dangers of politicians trying to win at all cost, urging Joseph to allow the Henry family to mourn in peace.
The United Democratic Party believes that they must win at all costs. And when I say at all costs, I mean at all costs. So they will do anything. So what should happen is that Guy Joseph should call a political truce. He should say, let Joachim Henry rest. Let him bury his son. Let his son rest in peace. And after, I'll continue my politics. He never did that. He continued the most vehement and nasty attacks on Joachim Henry and his family.
So where were these attacks made? Is that
public? You want me to start playing one for you?
That's okay.
No, because when you tell people these things, and the United Democratic Party and their surrogates, they're so consumed in making political mileage and so consumed in winning at all costs. They have absolutely what the young people call no chill. You understand?
Because it's appear up to now we don't quite know what is it that...
Exactly. And I will not say on radio what he said. Because it's too low. It's too degrading. It's too unbecoming of a government minister.
Henry's confrontation with the Castries Southeast MP, by Pierre's account, was one of emotional rage and human pain. Pierre has apologized to the religious organization for the disruption and the subsequent fallout.
That's a man and his wife who is in anguish, who is suffering. And you hear another man in your same church. And by the way, Angie, I want to apologize on behalf of the party, to the Seventh-day Adventists in the country, and to the leadership of the Seventh-day Adventist religion, if in any way what we did, what happened, brought their church into any issues. I want to apologize publicly on behalf of the Henry family and Joachim Henry in particular.
Pierre has called on the nation to continue to keep the Henry family in their prayers as they grieve the loss of their loved one. Solange Alfred, HTS News Force.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick.
Policing teachers' strike actions in Belize, explained by the top cop. Take a listen.
We as a department who have been tasked to ensure that law and order maintains. What we'll be doing during this time is not to be confrontational with these union members. You would know that we're in a time of COVID, and COVID-19 regulations do prohibit mass gathering. And so what we have been doing is to work with the union by exercising restraint. But at the same time, we advise them to ensure that they are in compliance with the COVID-19 regulations. We do not want that one of these events may cause a super spreader of the virus. And so it is important that they do so. And I must say that so far they have been compliant. We have always seen the unions and the teachers as our friends. They're not enemies. And so whatever we can do to ensure that the events that they have is being policed, then we're going to do so. But in terms of going after them and be confrontational, we're not going to do that now.
Scores of workers who are attached to the Guyana Power and Light Company used their lunch break on Tuesday to picket the company for overdue salary increases. Gordon Mosley of News Source Guyana reports.
Scores of workers attached to the Guyana Power and Light Company used their lunch break today to protest outside the company's Main Street headquarters, calling for their salary increases to be resolved. The GPL workers are represented by the National Association of Agricultural, Commercial and Industrial Employees, NACI. According to the union's General Secretary, Dauchen Nagasar, in 2020, GPL made a proposal to the union for a 3-year package for the power company workers. In that package, GPL offered a 5% increase for each of the 3 years. The General Secretary explained that after the government change, GPL asked for the negotiations to pause, given managerial changes at the company. He said that after several attempts, the negotiations resumed, and several matters were agreed upon, except the union's proposal for an across-the-board increase, as well as an appraisal increase.
We have agreed to 66 of those clauses. There is only 2 clauses that is outstanding. That is the across-the-board increase and the appraisal increase.
The union has asked GPL for a 5% increase for 2020, a 7% increase for 2021, and a 9% increase for next year. GPL has made no new offer to its original proposal.
The company asked that we do back a proposal on these 2 clauses. We did that. The letter is dated the 22nd of March. We gave it to the company. The proposal that we did is for 5% for 2020 across the board, 7% for 2021, and 9% for 2022. Since then, the company said that they will take it to management, and management will take it to the stakeholders to get involved and respond to us. They haven't responded to us as yet, and the workers are here. As you can see, they are dissatisfied, and they want to vent their dissatisfaction.
The NACI representative said although the union's proposal is 5%, 7%, and 9%, they are prepared to go to the bargaining table with the power company.
Did you know that your friends and family can now shop at the Food Fair from anywhere in the world, and you can receive here in Grenada? The Food Fair and GrenadaMarket.com now make it possible through secure online shopping and personalized customer service. Simply send your loved ones a list of your preferred items or let them fill an online basket, and the items will be available for pickup or delivery. Visit GrenadaMarket.com or thefoodfair.gd today for more details. The new norm. Spread the news.
I am Eddie Frederick. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean. In the meantime, please continue to log on to CaribbeanPerspective.com for more daily news and more.